Welcome everyone to the 29 Journey podcast. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the season 3 that I have going on. Before I introduce my special guest today, I do want to actually remind you all, if you haven't seen the website yet, go check it out. I recently created it a few weeks ago. Now, as of this recording, I should say, because it hasn't been that long now. But the 29journey.com is where you can find it at. Check it out. You can listen to all the episodes on there, going back to the very first one that I recorded. You can also check out videos, because if you're watching on video now, you know that season 3 episodes are on video now. So you can actually also watch them on the website. Also, you can contact me on there, which shout out to the people who have been actually filling out the form, sending me like messages on there. It's really awesome. And if you have a question to ask, if maybe you want to be on the podcast as well, feel free to fill that form out and send me more about yourself. And then we'll figure out if we can have you on the podcast as well. So again, check it out, the 29journey.com. Also, if you can, please give the podcast a follow on Facebook and Instagram at the 29 Journey, so you can find both of the pages on the site there. If you actually follow the Instagram page, I'll actually be posting more on my stories on there. I'm a little more active on that page, and I'll be doing some live shows through Instagram at times as well. So definitely give that a follow. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers, and I just recently passed 600 followers. So I'm getting there. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to reach that mark by the end of the year. But I'm going to need your guys' help whenever you get a chance. Share the Instagram page with a friend, share it on your stories. It really does help out a lot. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my special guest tonight here. She is the owner of Blame the Flame Candles, which is such an awesome name. It rhymes, and what better than having a business that has a name that rhymes and is like so catchy to remember. But her name is Esperanza Vargas. Welcome to a 29 Journey, Esperanza. How are you?
You.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I added the banner, so
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good too. Just staying cool. You know, it's like the hottest day of the week here.
Yeah,
But luckily, it's going to be less hot next week, and 5 degrees less. But something is something, I guess.
I'll take that over the hundreds any day.
Oh yeah. Oh, it makes such a difference. Right? I feel like when the weather reaches that 3 digit, it's a whole different thing. Even if it's like 99 versus 100, it might just be us just maybe just thinking like, oh, it's like extremely hot now. But it really feels like it makes a big difference when it changes, even if it's just 5 degrees. But um, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on here. Really appreciate the accepting the invitation to be on. I came across your business, and as I mentioned right now, just the name was so catchy. The logo is really cool. So I was like, I got to know more about the story of her business and where that name came from, and just how things have been going. But before we get to that, though, I know you were telling me that you're also from Modesto. You're also born here as well.
Mhm.
So I want to know more about what it's been like for you, what it was like growing up, and how you've seen it change. Because we know it's changed quite a bit since the '90s.
I've seen the huge growth in Modesto and in Riverbank as well, because my family, I was born and raised in Modesto, but a lot of my family's in Riverbank. And just the growth in Riverbank alone, it makes it feel like a whole different town between Crossroads, now the Costco coming in. And with Modesto, even with like the Save Mart on Oakdale Road, moving from Floyd all the way to Sylvan, because I went to UStack. So when I went to UStack, there was no houses around it. Like after school, if we wanted to, be like the cool teenagers and trek all the way to McDonald's or to Dollar Tree over there. And now you'd have to go through that whole neighborhood. It'd be like a maze.
Yeah, no, it's changed quite a bit. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, homes have been built everywhere. They're still getting built, right? Like you
Hmm.
just mentioned, Riverbank, behind that Costco, there's a bunch of homes that
Oh, yeah.
have been built already that are continuing to be built. I mean, it's crazy. Riverbank's growing a lot too, and just it's awesome to see all the different things going on there and whatnot. But yeah, no, the city's changed quite a bit. There's a lot more
Mhm.
going on for sure. Well, you do candle making, and if it's tied to the start of your business, then feel free to like tie it in with the story. But I want to know like where you got your inspiration to do candles and all that.
Well, my mom and I have always had a passion for candles. Going to the store, we'd always have to go to the candle aisle, even if it was a complete detour from what we were there for, to go and smell the candles. And my mom loves incense as well, which a little teaser is Blame the Flame's going to start making incense as well. So we haven't started selling them yet, but we're in the process of making those as well. Um, so it's just always been a passion of mine, and my I would always burn the candles in the house. Well, my family members now in my little family, fiance and two stepsons, some of my family here is very sensitive to store-bought candles. And I didn't even know that was a thing, because when I was younger, growing up at home, we never had that problem. Just thought candles were candles. So I started doing research and found that there is actually a lot of toxins and um, unhealthy chemicals that release when you burn store-bought candles. So I started doing a little more research and figuring out how to make my own candles toxic free. And when I started doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Like, who would have thought that making candles would be fun? Because I even seen them at Columbia, like growing up and going to Columbia up in the mountains, that you can make hand dipped candles, but my mom never let me do it, so I never got to experience it. So now that I got to experience it for myself, it's become kind of like, I guess you could say, addicting, because I never want to stop. So I started just making them at home, and then thought, why not turn it into a business? And then started trying to figure out names for my business, because I've never owned a business, so I didn't know how to name one. So I just started thinking of names, and nothing ever clicked. So my fiance, I think, got annoyed with me, keep saying like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to name it. And so he started throwing out annoying names, like, well, why don't you do, because I used to be in the army, so he's like, why don't you do like Mighty Girl Candle Co? And I'm like, what is wrong with you? No, that does not sound appealing whatsoever. And then so he just started throwing out more, and then eventually came out Blame the Flame Candle Co. And I was like, that actually might stick. And so I did a poll on my personal Facebook page, and I was like, hey guys, what do you think of all these names? And Blame the Flame was on there, and it was a hit. Everyone's like, that sounds so cool and so catchy. And now it's kind of a little bit of karma to my fiance, because now every time he hears it, he's like, man, I was really trying to be annoying.
I'm sure Mighty Girl wasn't in the list of options, right?
It was
In the
not.
poll?
No, I was like, that is a big no. I do not like no.
Well, that's cool that eventually, after a few tries,
Yeah,
one ended up clicking.
think he threw out about like 10 to 12 names, and I was like, you're about to go sleep outside if you don't stop. And then he threw out Blame the Flame, and I was like, all right, I guess you could sleep inside.
You got it right. Hey, all it took is
He did.
the warning. No, that's really cool, because I mean, I keep saying it's just really catchy, but yeah, no, I was saying like in visualizing all that, like I can visualize like a commercial where maybe like you have, I don't know, maybe you have like someone's child like going inside their mom's house maybe, and like the candle is there all lit up and all that, and maybe they're like, oh, why does it smell so good? And then the mom's like, well, you can blame the flame, and then
I love
just
that.
something like that. So if you ever want to do an ad, I feel like that would be a catchy way to
That would be
like
awesome.
use the name as a like slogan, I guess, as well. So
I actually really love that idea.
yeah, so hey, if anyone is an actor out there and wants to do an ad, I think it'd be really cool to like put a video like that on Instagram and all that. But so you told me that of course you had never had a business before, and I'm always really curious because I know that it's a lot of work to start a business. I mean, I haven't started one on my own, but I've heard stories from a lot of people, and it's a lot. You got to do a lot. I think people often think that it's not as tough as it seems like, but when it's your first time, there's a lot to be done. So just tell me more about what it was like when you opened the business and like some of the challenges that you faced in having the business.
I would say I definitely underestimated everything on the legal side. I had no idea about fictitious business names, what a DBA or an LLC or a sole proprietorship is. Like, it was all a different lingo. Like, I have to do what? You mean I have to do a business license and register with the state, and then all the legal aspects of owning a candle company, insurance. It was definitely overwhelming, but thankfully my fiance started a business in 2017, so he was able to guide me, and I had help that I'm sure a lot of people don't get because they're all by themselves on that kind of aspect. So he was definitely able to push me in certain directions and definitely hear me vent about all the stress because with just especially with business, it's an open or with business, with candles, it's an open flame in someone's home. So there's a lot of testing, and with a lot of testing comes with money you didn't expect to have to spend because with each batch of candles I make, I have to burn test at least one of them to make sure it's safe to sell. Um, and then with that, the whole insurance aspect of like pretty much cover your own butt. So like if someone tries to say, "Oh, it was your candle," I show them all these notes and data. Like I can promise you that it wasn't my product that did it because I meticulously check everything before I put it out for sale and have all the proof to show people with that aspect. But I would have to say one of my biggest challenges for sure is marketing because I am from the beginning age of social media. So I never would have expected it to be what it is today. That businesses definitely need social media to succeed. And it's definitely a learning curve, especially reels. I'm like, you mean I can't just post a picture anymore? I actually have to take a video and show myself? Like, what? And I've actually just kind of started getting a little more comfortable. Definitely not 100% comfortable with trying to talk on these reels because then I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm showing my product anymore. I feel like I'm just showing myself, but then I'm starting to learn that's what people want. They want to see the face behind the product now. When before, like, people just wanted to see pictures, no one wanted to see the videos. Now everyone's like, nope, video, video, video. That's all we want to see.
Yeah, no, and reels on Instagram, I mean, they're the thing, right? I mean, TikTok as well, we know that one, but yeah, on Instagram, reels is like a really major thing, I think, for businesses, and the more funnier you make it, the better, right? And it's just
Yeah.
all it takes is just one video, people sharing it around, and before you know, you have all these followers, and everyone's trying to like see what else you're gonna post, right? So it's cool that you're starting to do more of that, and it does take a lot of work though. I get
Yeah.
that for sure. There's a lot
Yeah,
that
and I'm
goes with it.
starting to learn that people also want to see the process of the candle making, but then I'll get started and I'll get in the groove and I'll make a big old batch and then I'm like, crap, I forgot my phone. I didn't take a video of anything. And TikTok is honestly something I keep forgetting about. And I know it's what's the rage these days, but I forget about it so much that it undownloads itself from my phone. So I'm like, oh gosh, I have to re-download it and try this whole thing again.
Yeah, that feature. Yeah, it does annoy me too. Sometimes there's apps that you use, and it just decides like, oh, you're not ever gonna use it again. So here you go. Let me. It's like, no, I will, but I'm not using it every day. But yeah, no, there's a lot that goes with that. I mean, I just threw out an idea, but if or more ideas come to mind, I'll definitely like send them your way. But you definitely need someone that can be recording you for sure. I'm sure, right? I mean, or a tripod or something to like put your
Mhm.
phone on to get more of those videos. But yeah, that's what I've been hearing with other people as well. Like people enjoy watching. I mean, I enjoy watching those behind the scenes videos because
Mhm.
it's nice to see the final product, but it's also great to see the process that goes behind that, and also I think just to um, have people get more appreciation over what it is that you do, right? And be like, hey, this looks like it's not complicated, but there's a whole process that goes to make it look that way, right? It's not as easy as just pouring the
Oh.
wax
Mhm.
into the container and then boom, it's set.
To
There's
be
more.
honest, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, so that's what I think. I mean, that's just me on my
Mhm.
perspective on that, right? But I'm like, I feel like people need to get more appreciation, I think, over things at times. And this is one way to show them like, hey, it takes work, and there's the reason why like something might cost more than it does at like, I don't know, going to like a Walmart, and it's all, I mean, all
Oh,
that is
yeah.
like industrial, right? And like you
Mhm.
just mentioned, right? I mean, there's who knows what in that inside that, and so
Uh-huh.
it helps you, I think, have more value right over the product.
I actually just had that question today. Someone asked, "Well, why are your candles more than candles I can get at TJ Maxx for like $7 or $8?" And I said, to be honest, because those candles are so mass produced that they just throw whatever they can in them. Most of them are paraffin wax, which when you burn paraffin, it releases like parabens and phthalates and all these other toxins that when you breathe them in can cause breathing problems for you later in the future. And same with whatever fragrances they put in them. My fragrances, I make sure are paraben free, phthalate free, and made essential oil based. Therefore, they're a lot safer for you. And the wax I use is 100% plant based, so it's more natural as well. And who knows if what metals those wicks have in them as well. All my wicks are 100% cotton, so you're burning cotton, not something that'll release metals in the air for you to breathe. And because of all that, they also burn twice as long as store-bought candles, so you get what you pay for at that point.
Oh yeah, that's a big
Mhm.
bonus because who wants wants a candle to, isn't as good as it was before. Well, let's go ahead and like take a look at your shop. For those of you watching on video, you could see it there. For everyone listening, you can go on their website, blametheflame.com/shop. But I want to talk about the different ones that you offer, and I know you offer other things as well, so we can definitely also talk about those as well. But let me make sure that I am actually sharing the right window here for the products. Here we go. Um, so let's talk about the candles and the names because there's some really like funny ones. I mean, the one, and I'm like scrolling through here, Tropic Like It's Hot is like it had me laughing really when I saw it. And there's other ones here as well, but like how do you come up with the names? Like what's the price for that?
So I have to give this one to my fiance as well. He came up with Tropic Like It's Hot. It's supposed to mimic like a drink that you'll drink at the beach, something fruity and refreshing. And yeah, Tropic Like It's Hot actually is perfect for it. I actually have the candle. Oh, wait, that's not it. Oh, I got the thought I grabbed it. I guess I didn't grab that candle, but it's actually one of my favorites. It's one I release every summer since I started 3 years ago, and the room spray and the wax melts and the candles have people requesting it honestly year round. But I like to release a different scent each month, and that's one that's always July.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing the room sprays as well on here,
Hmm.
but like how does the process differ, and what do you make more of, the sprays or the candles?
Definitely the candles. The room sprays have been uh, a hot item actually as well. A lot of people, because people have different needs for different
Mm,
things. So I would definitely say I make more candles, but I try to have as many room sprays on hand available as well. I have a lot of people that just keep coming back for the room sprays. That's all they want. They don't like flames in their house, so
mm.
room sprays are their thing. And same with the wax melts, because like kids that are in dorms, they can't have a flame in their dorm, so they have a wax melter or room sprays instead.
Yeah, no, it's great that you have those options for them because I could see why people might have that fear, right? Which I mean, the odds are like really low that that would really like make a big impact, right? That a flame would do all that. But it's nice that you can have other options for people and that you offer them like in the same aromas as well, right? Because I see some here that
Yes.
are the same ones offered in various ways as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd have
Now,
to say my favorite right now is this one, the mango cocoa.
oh,
I
okay.
actually see it on the screen right there. It smells divine.
Now, which one's the one that is like the best seller, or like maybe some of the best sellers?
Moonflower nectar, surprisingly. That one was a scent that was supposed to be just a seasonal spring scent last year, but it has been doing so well that people were asking me to have it year round, and now I do. And it's one that's hard for me to keep on the shelves all the time.
Oh, interesting. And when the holiday season is around, do you do some that are like just like limited edition of sorts, or?
Yes, I actually release a seasonal candle every month. So that way it because things a little interesting, because I used to do like every season, like do four at a time, but I started doing it once a month, and people have really seemed to like it because then every month they come, all right, what's our new scent this month type of situation. It keeps people excited, keeping them on their toes. And so this month is Tropic Like It's Hot. Last month was Mango Cocoa. The month before was Southern Peach. I still have a tiny bit left of each one, but people still seem to really enjoy it. But for Christmas, one that I love having every year is my gingerbread house.
Oh, that
That one.
just hearing the name, I'm like, oh, I can imagine how it smells already. Like that's a really good one there. Uh, that's cool. So when you first started selling, did you do the candles and the wax melt, or were you just like exclusively selling the candles, and then you kind of like started like sell the wax melt as well, or how was that?
I started with candles and wax melts because I knew I have certain family members that, like you were saying, don't like flames actually. So I've noticed it's kind of a thing more than I thought. So I wanted to have the wax melts because of people that also like Scentsy and stuff like that. And they have both sold pretty well because people have different needs. But then people started asking about room sprays, so I started doing room sprays as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I could see. I mean, I would probably wanna get a room spray and have it handy for any time, and it's just a really quick way to get that aroma filled up quick without having to
One
wait.
thing Yeah, one thing that surprised me is people like to use them as car air fresheners. I never would have expected that. So I'm like, I
Oh,
guess I can kind of see that. Interesting.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it almost, uh, I mean, it gives me the idea that like maybe you can find a way to like, convert them into car air fresheners as well, right? So it's not just a spray,
That's
but have that.
mhm. That's something I actually want to start working on as well with the incense. I'm going to start working on car air fresheners too.
Yeah. Oh, that would be big. Because, who doesn't want their car smelling good, and,
Oh
something
yeah.
that could be there, maybe last a month, 2 months, but
Hmm.
just having that around so people aren't getting the trees, right? The if I think they're still selling them, right? I think
Exactly.
the
Oh
trees
yeah.
out there, so
Yeah, the little trees.
you could probably do, like, a custom one with, like, a flame on there, and then, like, some of the aromas that you have on here, I think that would be
But
good.
that's been the hardest part of it, is trying to find unscented die cut little things like that. I've been looking and looking, but haven't found a supplier yet. So I'm trying to, that's been the hardest challenge, is trying to find something that works for my brand and isn't the same as what everyone else is doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, no, this is great. It's awesome that you have different ones here. I think a little bit of everything for everyone. Now, when you're out and about selling them, do you have like samples, or like, is there a way that people can like smell it before? Or, like, what do you do?
Oh yeah, at the farmers market, I have a booth every Thursday and Friday here downtown Modesto. Um, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 to 1. I have all my candles, all my room sprays, wax melts out there for everyone to come and check out. I also sell them at Rodden Farms downtown, so people can go there to check them out too.
Oh, awesome, man. That's great. I've been to the farmers market a few times actually. I think I may have seen your booth. I think I may have seen
Mhm.
it, but obviously I didn't know who you were before. But um, I think it's great that you're out there selling like your products, and I've had the chance to like talk to others that are also selling there at farmers markets and other ones. So it's great that you're able to be there and introduce people to these better options, right? Of like candles out there, because all that knowledge that you were saying earlier, those are things that people don't realize, like
Hmm.
they're doing, right? I mean, they just go, they buy the candle, they just assume, oh, it smells good, how could that be bad? But it's, I think it's that education of like, yeah, this is what's going on and it's going to affect you, that can really help out a lot. Here I am giving you like marketing tips for that, and it's like, oh, you could do a lot with that. And you know have that like education thing, or having things there
Mhm.
at your stand, right? Like just like some sheets of like, hey, this is, this is why I'm better, essentially,
Oh yeah, I
than
have
that.
little candle care cards I give to each one of my customers that buy to try to help them get the best out of their candles and tell them the benefits of the candles. And I was actually surprised by how much people love them because I didn't realize how much people love education and learning about different things like that.
Yeah, I'd say that, especially nowadays, I think that since there's been more like demand for transparency, right, from like all the different
Hmm.
things that we consume, like people, I think, have started to demand more of that education, right? So I think that's why they really like seeing that, and learning more about the products that maybe they're already using, and why they should maybe
Hmm.
switch, not not keep buying that same like candle at Walmart.
Yes.
So as I was looking at your website, I also noticed that you also have like create your own candle events that you do, and other kinds of events like that. So just tell me more about those events, and maybe other similar ones that you might have planned, if you have any.
So I do pour your own candle events where you come out and I have pretty much, it's kind of like a candle bar setup where I have over 20 different scents that people can choose from and they can mix and match depending on what size they get is how many scents they can mix and match up to. And people have really enjoyed it because then I just walk them through the process of making their candle. And it's not necessarily like a class where you have to just sit and listen to me talk for 2 hours and try to figure out how to get this whole thing to last 2 hours because making one candle really isn't that long of a process. The longest part of it is figuring out what scents you want to blend or if you even want to blend them. And so I walk you through choosing the scent, measuring out the ingredients between the wax and fragrance ratio, and then help you pour it and mix your fragrance. And then it takes about 2 hours for it to be safe for you to take home, which is why I also like doing it at places like breweries or somewhere where you can sit and hang out comfortably and have something to do instead of just twirl your thumbs for 2 hours while you're waiting for your candle to set. And it's been a pretty big hit. I was really shocked. My first one was last year on my birthday,
Oh,
and
nice.
it was such a great turnout. I was shocked, honestly, because I like to do it one on one with people. So at first, I told people in the event, like, show up anytime between this 3 hour time frame. But of course, everyone showed up at once. So I was like, oh no, uh, I'll be right with you, walk this person through, and then go to the next person. So I ended up having to do time slots on my events now. And it's turned out great because I accumulate 30 minutes for each party and it's worked out absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, I had to do a pause because of the heat, but I'm hoping that once the weather cools down in October, I can start doing more. I'm actually starting to plan more. And I have an event calendar on my on Facebook, sorry, on my website where people can go and check out the events on there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, yeah, no, this weather, it ruins a lot of things, right? It's like,
Yeah, I had to
especially with making
cancel
candles.
two of them.
Oh,
And it was a big bummer because I love doing the pour your own candles because then I can be, like I said, one on one with all these people. And sometimes I feel bad because I like to talk and we'll talk and talk and talk. And then I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I got to get to the next person.
but it's great that they were. I mean, it might suck, right, that they were all on time, right, because of the,
Mhm.
having to like have that one on one and all that. But it's nice to see that, there was so much interest that people were like, I'm gonna be there at that time and be punctual and excited for it, right? So it's almost like
Oh, I
you might need to grow
appreciated
the
it.
team.
I appreciated it because it taught me what I was doing wrong at that moment. Like, oh, I didn't realize I had to do time slots. Okay. And now that I learned from it, it's been great because it also makes it so people don't feel rushed to be there. Like, okay,
Mm.
I don't have to be there right at 4 o'clock. I can be there at 5:30 or 6 o'clock and still be able to make my candle type of thing.
No, are the time slots for like per person, or is that group of people, or like?
So per time slot, I allow up to 10 people because sometimes it's like a whole party of people that want to do it. So they can just sit there and mix and match their scents and show each other like, oh, what do you think of this one type of thing. It's kind of like a bonding experience is what I've noticed. So I allot up to 10 people per time frame and learn 30-minute time frames within a 3-hour time span. And it's also allowed people, I feel like I said, they don't feel like they're rushed as well. So, especially if they see a big old line, because during that day, there was a line of people, and people were like, am I taking too long? And I didn't want to say, like, I wanted to tell them, like, oh no, take your time. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, you're okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 10 other people. What am I gonna do?
They might say something else. You're like, you're okay, but
Yeah.
don't look over there. Don't look.
Yeah, don't make eye contact.
Yeah, just don't look at them because they're probably really bad right now. Well, I'm glad that like you're able to find that out and let people have that one-on-one time because it just helps with the whole experience and all that. Now, have you ever gotten inspiration for a new aroma based on like what maybe someone's done, or like do you
I
do like
actually
do that?
have.
Yeah.
There's been some sense where I'm like, "You're gonna put those 2 together?" And I guess we'll find out, and then afterwards, I'm like, "I never would have thought about that type thing." Like, my mango cocoa, I mixed between mango and coconut milk, and I had that blend put together for the, one of my pour your owns, and someone mixed it with water lilies, and I was like, "Hmm, okay, like, water lily is very, very strong, but okay." And it was very, very pleasant. I was shocked. At the end, I was like, "Okay, I definitely gotta smell this one now that it's cooled down," and it was surprisingly good. Or I have this other one called Coffee Break, which is coffee, milk, vanilla, and sugar all put together, and someone mixed it with my Hello Handsome fragrance, which is a men's cologne, and I was
Oh,
like, okay. And it was a lot better than I anticipated as well. So I was like, hmm, okay, some of these people come up with some wild blends. But I love that part of it. I love seeing people's creativity come to life.
if you haven't named that fragrance yet, just thinking both of them, I would suggest like breakfast date for a name for that. You got coffee and you got men's cologne. That sounds like it's a date that's happening in the morning, right?
That actually does. That's not too shabby.
So notice I'm giving your fiance a break from from another name. He's like, uh, but yeah, no, that's it's really cool that you can have some inspiration from that, and I'm sure you probably do your own tests, right? You probably had some aromas that just didn't work out, and then others that
Oh yeah.
you end up. Now, do you ever do like aroma studies? Like, do you have focus groups that you go to that just to try out different things, or do you do that?
Not in person, no. I haven't found anything like that, but I do a lot of Googling.
Mm,
A lot of random websites that I tend to pop up and find, like, about, especially because I like to learn all the candles in the olden days, what people would do, or how the scented candles even came about, type of situations. I like to do a lot of aroma studies to see like what's relaxing, what's energizing, what helps with headaches, what helps with stress, like all those kinds of things. Because aromatherapy, I've learned, is definitely a real thing. So, so that's the kind of stuff that I like to research. I've
yeah.
been trying to find groups around here for that kind of situation, but it's been a bit tough.
Yeah. Or even just like people that family members, because I've heard it from like other people that they use their family as like a focus group. They're like, oh, here you go. spray this or like just let me know what you think.
Oh, my aunt has definitely been a big person on that because when she found out I wanted to start a candle business, she got so excited because she loves scents. Like, she taught me so much in the beginning about all the different layers of scent that makes perfumes and candles and that type of situation. This woman can find, she knows the name of a perfume just by looking at the bottle. All
Wow.
these fancy perfumes, all these things. I didn't even know someone could do that. So like I got this little travel sized perfume as a gift, but it didn't have the name on it. So I sent her a picture and I was like, "Hey, can you tell me what this is?" And right away she was like, "Oh, I know what that is. It's this, 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 and this." And I'm like, "How did you do that?" It was absolutely amazing. I was so excited because it's my new favorite perfume. So now I know what it's called. um, so like whenever I come up with a scent, I'm like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I have her test it out and she's like, "Yes, perfect, on the tee," or she'll give me the constructive criticism a lot of people are afraid of hurting my feelings for. So she's definitely one that I can say, "Hey, what do you think of this one?" And she'll say, "Oh, that's terrible." Or she'll be like, "I love it." And she'll tell me all the reasons why for both answers. So she's been great about that.
Well, it's great to have the expert that can tell you all
Oh,
that, and yeah, that's amazing. Like just to know something without even smelling it, like wow.
yeah, she loves her scents.
Yeah, but yeah, no, going back to what you were saying earlier, the aromatherapy. I mean, I've heard some things about that as well, and I mean, yeah, that it's just a thing, right? I mean, the power of smelling stuff, and it changes people's moods, right? I mean, if you're smelling something that doesn't smell
Mhm.
good, no one's gonna be happy, right? But if it's something really good, it could change people's attitude, and I could see why they say, right, that like there's some that help you out with like stress, right? Someone's going through a stressful time, but having that helps out a lot. Now, out of the candles that you have, like I guess on the note of stress, like which one would you recommend for like stress relief, I guess, if you want to spray it, especially maybe in the car when you're dealing with the traffic, maybe if you're going to the Bay Area.
Lavender and chamomile, 100%.
Mm.
Because lavender is just so calming, and chamomile, even though it's one that kind of puts you to sleep, I put such a little amount that it won't put you to sleep, but it'll
Oh,
still relax you. And then another one, eucalyptus and peppermint for me is also really relaxing.
okay. Nice. Well, I guess chamomile could be one if someone's trying to sleep and they can't sleep, right? Spray that and see if it helps. Yeah, no, that's really awesome. I'm glad that, that just all these aromas have all these different effects and that you have the seasonal ones because I mean, when the holidays are around, when it's Christmas time, there's nothing like being able to smell, like you mentioned the gingerbread one. It
Hmm.
just gets you more in the mood. Music gets you in that mood, but I think just smelling it is something different. Whatever it is, if you're smelling the aroma, whether it's through an air spray, whether it's through like cookies, whatever it might be, it's great. And here I am talking about Christmas in July, right? It's
I
almost
love it because
almost
it
there.
brings me back to my childhood. And that's another amazing thing about fragrances is it can bring back so many different memories that sometimes you don't even remember. You smell something and it's like, "Oh, I remember smelling that like as a child near my grandfather or something like that, like my sexy girl candle is my take on Victoria's Secret Love Spell. So many people when they smell it, they're like, "This brings me back to high school." And it's amazing when people are like, "Oh my gosh, what is it?" Or right away they're like, "Hey, this smells like Love Spell." And I'm like, "Hey, you got it."
I'm like, can you do one that smells like Axe spray too? Because that was I mean, at least when I was going to high school, that was the thing, right? It's like the Axe spray and all that. That they said it was supposed to be like a good smell, and I smell it now, and I'm like, I don't know what they were saying, but I guess if you can come up with
Yeah.
one just to like remind me of that time,
that
then there's one.
that takes me back to middle school.
Yeah, right. Yeah, when it was like everywhere, right? It's like
Mhm.
everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta have this," and they did a good job with their marketing. I'll give them that. But I'm just like, speaking of things that would take you back to a certain time, that's one.
Yeah, I feel like all the like the teenage boys would be buying that one up.
Probably. I don't even know if it's still a thing now. I'm like, is it? I don't even know. I haven't seen any ads, but it might still be. But
My
um,
fiance and I tried to buy it for my stepsons because they're teenagers, 13 and 14. So a couple years ago, we're like, oh, they're about that age. They're gonna want to start wearing cologne. So we got them Axe deodorant, Axe body wash, and this like whole kit of Axe stuff. And they were like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's cologne, make you feel like a man type thing." And they're like, "No, we want Old Spice." I'm like,
oh,
"Oh, you know what Old Spice is? Okay, I'd rather smell that than Axe, so that worked for me."
yeah. They have been doing more ads now, so maybe that all kind of makes sense because I've been seeing a lot. I mean, I haven't really seen Axe as much, but I've seen that. So yeah, it's wow, interesting how times have changed, right? Because I remember, I mean, back
Oh
then
yeah.
that was the brand that you're like, well, you're probably like an older man to use that. Who would want to use that as a teenager, right? And it's
Exactly.
they changed it.
I was shook. I was like, "Oh, okay," but that works for me because I remember walking by kids in middle school and being like, "Oh my gosh, that's suffocating."
Yeah, I don't know how they got away with it, right? It's like the smell wasn't that good, but the ads were appealing, so that's why everyone was like, "Oh, I want to," and plus someone had it, and so everyone was like, "Oh, I gotta get it too." And I just, yeah, I don't know how. I get, I get the ads work, but it's like in practice, it wasn't what it was living up to. But yeah,
It was the hype.
it was, yeah, I just, yeah. But like you're saying, just the power of aroma, and it does take you back to a lot of things too. And I also, here's another one too. And I know there's a lot of people that like love reading still and like, buy books and all that, but that new book smell is maybe something
Oh.
else that could be captured. I don't know if you could capture that in that, but like that's such a good smell that it would be
Mhm.
nice to like spray it in like a library of like older books or something
Mhm.
and make you feel like, I'm reading a new book right now.
Oh yeah, that smell of fresh, crisp pages is like no other for sure.
So I'm just throwing out more ideas, more that are out there too, and see who would buy into that. But I think there's something for everyone. People
Mhm.
smell something, and then, like you said, it always takes them somewhere, and it's something special, especially when it's memories from the past and things that you like to remember, and just the simple like smell takes you back, which is crazy, right? Just how I think how we remember those smells for the longest time, even if we haven't smelled something in ages. There's that. And
I agree 100.
another one that I joke around a lot, and maybe you can make it happen. I joke around with people a lot whenever you're going out of the valley. I mean, you know that we're known here as the place where you sometimes can smell the cows, right? If the wind is right.
Oh,
So
yes.
I always joke, I'm like, who's gonna come out with a Central Valley smell as a spray, as a car freshener that has that like a similar scent to that people can
Of the
take when they
dairies.
leave, that could bring them back home, right? Because I always say, if I was blindfolded and someone brought me back home, I'd be like, I'm definitely home because that if you smell in that, you know where you're at. You know you're not anywhere else in the state but here. So that's always been an idea, and I'm like, hey, if you can make that happen, people who are leaving maybe might, or whoever does appreciate that, right? I mean, I'm sure some people might be like, I didn't like it, and all that, but it's more so like the reminder of home, I think, if
Mhm.
anything else, because that's the only smell I really know that like really identifies this area.
I've been trying to figure out a scent that would definitely identify Modesto. I wasn't sure if it would be the blossoms because that's what everybody thinks of in the spring, but dairies would 100% be one of them too.
Yeah, or if you're trying to look for Livingston, a chicken flavored one,
Oh yeah,
that could
all the
identify
chicken
them too.
farms.
Because the moment you could even just pass by the freeway, it just that smell is so strong that you could be anywhere in Livingston. You're gonna like you're gonna encounter that, but that would be great. I mean, if you can come up with like a different aroma for like different cities here in the area, I think those could sell really
Mhm.
good.
That would be pretty awesome. Now to think of one for series.
Oh, that could, yeah. Uh, that could be one. Yeah, I'm like, the first thing that comes to mind is all the Mexican stores and like
I
the
was
fresh
just
bread.
thinking Mexican food.
Oh, taco flavored, yeah, because there's a lot of taco trucks there, so
Mhm.
that could be one too. But yeah, that would be great. Let me know whenever you do, and that would be awesome. And whatever. I think I'd also be interested in seeing the name for those two because I'm sure it'd be some catchy like name based on the city itself. But yeah, so well, one last question for you. I want to know, like, what are some of your future business plans in a year, 5 years, 10 years? Like, what are some things that you want to do? It could be again 5, 10 years from now in the business.
I want to open a storefront, but I want it to be downtown Modesto. So I've been really picky about what I want and where I want it. Ideally, it would be on J Street, but all those spots are so prime retail that who knows when something will open up. So I'm not in a rush on it. It's probably going to be within the next 2 to 3 years where I'll find the perfect spot. And I want to open a candle bar. So like what I call my candle making, like the pour your own candles, is the candle creation station. So, but I'm gonna take off the candle part of it because I would like to also venture into the beauty aspect. So like start making soaps, lotions, that kind of stuff. There's all these little side projects I'm constantly working on,
Mhm.
but I don't rush the process like I didn't rush the candles. So it's uh bit time consuming. So I try to, because I don't want to put anything out before I think it's the best product that it can be, of course. So working on soaps, working on lotions, facial bars. So that's what's gonna, once the store opens, that's what it's gonna have is a soap and candle making bar and a little retail shop.
Oh, that's really nice. I'm really excited whenever I hear of like new businesses that are going to open, especially in downtown Modesto, because there's so much to do now, and the more we bring more people, the more business hopefully comes to all the different
Exactly.
places that are around there. And certainly Gallo Center is helping out a lot, bringing more and more like famous people and all that, and just seeing more sellouts there. So I'm glad, and I can't wait till that happens, and we could see a candle bar. I don't know if there's any other thing like that, but at least this is like the first time I'm hearing of it. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anywhere else in the 209 that has a candle bar. Is there another place or?
There's a couple spots that opened after I started doing the pour your own candle events. So I at first when I started the pour your own candle events, I liked that it was mobile. I mean, I'll continue to keep it mobile even after I have a location, just because I like to like go to businesses and do team building events, and I know that people like being able to go to different locations with it instead of just sitting in the same spot for a while, you know. Um, so so yeah, there's a couple, but the candle creation station was definitely the first in the valley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, because like it's the first time I'm hearing of something like that, and like I was just saying earlier, right? Like it just people want to know how to make something, the behind the scenes, but if you can make it on your own too, I mean, that's even more amazing to be able to say like, oh yeah, I made that, right? You're like,
Hmm.
you have that aroma in your house, and you're like, well, I made that. That's my creation, and
Exactly. And I
so
like
it's
giving people the option to have their own personalized scent that you can't find somewhere else.
oh yeah. Do you also put like a label on it too, so people can like write on it
Hmm.
and have it? Oh,
So it looks like one of these labels, but where the name is a completely blanked out white spot. So I have all these different colored markers so people can personalize the label with their own name and their own color and stuff like that. So, and it's funny because people don't realize they get to do it until they get there and they're like, I have to name it too? Like, oh, this is the hardest part. What am I going to name my candle?
yeah.
It's cute. I love it.
That's when you whisper to your fiance, "Hey, I think they might need some help with that. Go offer the list."
Yeah, I'm like, well, you can ask Paul. And Paul just looks at me like, putting me on the spot here.
Yeah. It's like, hey, it might catch on, and then
Yeah, just be annoying. That tends to be when it happens.
it worked for the business name, right? So keep he
Exactly.
needs to keep at it, and think of a name for the candle bar. When you open the
Mhm.
business, I think the candle bar needs its own name as well. Name the area.
It's the creation station.
Oh, that's where you're gonna go with, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, did he create
Yeah,
that
because
one too,
that's
or is that one
no,
yours?
that actually I came up with that one. I was really proud of myself.
Oh, nice. Yeah, another one that rhymes. You guys are
Mhm.
on it.
I think it's
Uh,
all the dad jokes I tell the kids is coming in handy.
it, it it happened, right? It works.
Mhm. Yeah,
So people don't say it's a waste of time.
exactly. The candle creation station is what I named the pour your own candles, but I'm just gonna name the bar once I get into it the creation station so people can make soaps, lip balms, and candles. And wax melts too, of course.
Oh, okay. Oh, other things too. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
people already going for this. Imagine all the other things, because lip balms are the thing, and
Hmm.
yeah, just everything else. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'm assuming, yeah.
I don't want it to just be limited to just candles. I want people to be able to come in and make I'll probably even let them make the room sprays too, just
Mhm.
so people can have something more to do.
Yeah. All these products, and just in case it hits
Hmm.
off, then you can also maybe integrate it and sell that as well. Right,
Hmm.
it works out for that. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you're expanding to do more, and I mean, you already have the raw ingredient, right? So it's only a matter of, like,
Hmm.
I'm sure, like, putting it in a different like, case, and just doing it differently, but you already have the smell itself. So that's the good thing, right? I mean, and if something hits, people are going to want it in every single way of having it, and all that, and it's great to have different options for people to choose from. But this has been really awesome. Thank you again for your time here. I think we all learned a lot about candle making. Of course, it's a lot different when you can actually go and see the process. So, um, if you want to invite people to check you out, your website, your socials, I know we have them on the screen here on video, but for those people listening, where can people follow you and buy them online if they can't make it out to the pop up?
So we're at the farmers market downtown Modesto on 16th Street between H and I every Thursday and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Or on Instagram, we're at Blame the Flame Candles. Also on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Blame the Flame Candles, and TikTok is also Blame the Flame Candles, which I'm trying to be on more. It's been a while since my last TikTok, but I'm really working on making that a more regular thing.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna happen, I'm sure. I mean, it's like I said, there's a lot. It's just there's a lot of social media apps, and it's
Mhm.
just tough to go with one the other. Now, I've seen people repost from TikTok to Instagram, so that's the good thing, is that you could just maybe
Oh yeah.
do that as well. So you could cater to both people that are on both, and still be the same thing, because it's still like similar dimensions and all that for the video. So um, that saves you some time.
Oh yeah, and our website is www.blametheflame.com, and we have an event calendar that has all our events on it as well.
Perfect. Well, now everyone knows, if you want to make your own candles, that's a spot. Just keep going out there. I'm gonna try and go to one of those, because I want to know what it's like to do all that, and just to mix different ones. See if I can come up with a future one that you could sell, and just experiment. I think it's great that you're trying these different things out, and then something sticks, and then it's like a unique aroma maybe too, right? Because sometimes
Mhm.
people don't think to mix those and sell that, but it ends up working out. So yeah, thank you so much again for being on here, and yeah, we'll be sharing any events that you have, so people can find out on Instagram again through the stories.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
And thank you so much to everyone for listening or watching, if you're watching right now on YouTube or Facebook. Again, check us out, the209journey.com. That's where you can find out all the episodes, find any other things that are going on. I think I'm going to probably do an events page at some point there. So if you're trying to find things to do on any given day, then you can maybe find out something. So working on that. I think I might add a calendar, figure out how I'll get that to work. But that's in the works for that. Also, if you want to contact me, again, that is the place to do so. I'll get an email right away, and I'll be sure to get back at you within a day of seeing the message. So, yeah. Thank you so much again, everyone, for listening to the episode today. I hope you have a good morning or good night whenever you're listening, and you'll hear me in a few days here on the 209 Journey podcast.